Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Hannah Diana de la Cruz, and I will be your host for today's session. This is our third session na ng refresher training on qualitative data analysis, titled Harnessing AI for Qualitative Data Analysis. For our participants, please answer the attendance form. You can scan the QR code or you can type the link you can see in the screen. Also, please change your Zoom meeting room nicknames. For MA students, MA underscore program underscore your name. For PhD students, PhD underscore your program underscore your name. And for our guest underscore your school and underscore your full name. Next. Let's observe Zoom etiquettes. First, please keep your microphones muted. 2, use your camera when necessary. Later, we will have our photo opportunities, so please open your camera later. Third, please stay attentive, focus, and avoid multitasking. Find a quiet location. Use raise hand for questions. Later, we will have our open forum. So please use raise hand later for proper recognition. Next, use chat appropriately. And please enter or use your full name for easy identification. So again, I would like to welcome you all for our third session of refresher training on qualitative data analysis. Now we will now listen to our national anthem, Lupang Hinirang.
Bayang magiliw, pero sa silangan, nalalaw ng puso, sa itip mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiging, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisihil. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoya, sa langit papaga, may nilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na naglilinig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng ating pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Sa piling mo, aming ligaya ng pagmay mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Again, I would like to welcome you all for our third session of refresher training on qualitative data analysis. For our newcomers, please change your Zoom nicknames and please mute yourselves when the next slide start. So I would like to call on our faculty assistant, Dr. Adonis P. David, to properly introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Hannah. So it's my pleasure to introduce our resource person this morning. Our resource person is Associate Professor Jovito Anito Jr., who's a faculty at the Jose Rizal Memorial State University. Currently, he also serves as Vice Chair of the Educational, Governmental, and Educational Policies Division of the National Research Council of the Philippines, or NRCP. Sir Anito has taught several research courses in several universities, including De La Salle University, Philippine Normal University, and Central Mindanao University. His research interests include teacher professional development, science education, and qualitative research methods. He co-authored the chapter Qualitative Research Ethics in the Sage Handbook of Qualitative Research in the Asian Context and has published in Scopus and ISI Index journals. Sir Ardito has led and collaborated on several CHED-funded projects in higher education, focusing on assessment, teacher professional development, and STEAM education. He's also actively engaged in conducting training and workshops on action research, qualitative methods, and research publications, with particular attention to the ethical use of AI and emerging tools in educational research. So without further ado, please welcome Sir Jovito Anito Jr. Ana, hindi daw makaka-unmute si Sir. Pagawa na lang siyang co-host if naka-mute yung ano.
Okay na po. Good
Okay na,
morning.
okay.
Good morning po, Sir Don. Good morning po. I'm happy to be invited to Philippine Normal University, my former home as well. I used to be your faculty in this university a few years back, and I'm glad to be joining you in this webinar today. I'm happy that I'll be with fellow graduate students in this in learning about some of the nuances no, in the integration of AI in qualitative research. Um, 358. So there's a lot of us in this room. Perhaps you can reserve your comments and place them in the chat box. We'll deal with them at the end of the session. Okay. Um, it's going to be spontaneous presentation. I haven't prepared the slides, but I will be using my materials in a doc, which I will be happy to provide you with at the end of this training. I prepared two documents. One is the present state of our upcoming article. It's in a manuscript form where we look at the state of research of AI in qualitative data analysis, and then I'll be providing you as well with a handout where you can refer to some of the important um, principles and practical guidelines in the integration of AI in qualitative data analysis. I understand you had your previous session with Dr. Nilo last week. This is to augment. This is to add more information and some tips to what you had with Dr. Nilo last week. Okay. Sorry. Okay, I hope my document is seen by everybody now. I'll be talking about harnessing AI in qualitative research, primarily focusing on giving you some practical guidelines in AI-assisted qualitative data analysis. This one is very close to us, no? Who are very, shall we say, makaluma in qualitative research and qualitative data analysis. In fact, even 5 years ago, our position when it comes to qualitative data analysis is still very firm. No? Nagbago lang siya very recently nung na-realize na natin na talagang inevitable na po yung AI. So we used to be very resistive about and resistant about the integration of technology in qualitative data analysis for obvious reasons. No? Ang dami nating mga dogma in qualitative research na gusto nating i-uphold and parang tingin natin if we use technology or AI, specifically AI in qualitative data analysis, nawawala yung mga main tenets of qualitative research. Kaya dumaan tayo sa matinding epistemic tension, dumaan tayo sa yung identity crisis as a qualitative researcher. Dumaan tayo sa prosesong iyon until we fully embrace qualitative data analysis that is assisted by artificial intelligence or technology. So I started giving top lectures about computer-assisted qualitative data analysis or CACDA sometime in 2020 during the pandemic, wherein nagiging trend din yung online data collection or online interviews, online FGDs, etc. So we thought it's about time to revisit these tenets and see how we can embrace technology, the inevitability of AI, and uphold the principles or the tenets of qualitative research. No? So this is basically the purpose of my presentation today. While I'll be presenting to you some of the um, methods of integrating AI in the qualitative data analysis, I always emphasize that the important tenets of qualitative data analysis or qualitative research are being upheld. We don't move away from the traditional principles of qualitative research or qualitative data analysis. Okay, so there are four main topics that I will cover today. I'll talk about the evolving epistemics of qualitative data analysis. As I have said, I have to anchor this talk. You might question me or ask me, kasi if you happen to be with me prior to the point where I embrace technology in qualitative data analysis, I was very traditional, no? So ayaw namin ng part ako sa mga qualitative data researchers na ayaw ng technology, parang manual, no? Mas or kung meron mang technology, hindi para sa pag generate ng code na automated, but to organize the codes or more on organizing the codes. I've started using MaxQDA in 2010, but not to let the program automate the coding process, but more on organizing the codes and then organizing them into clusters and conceptualizing from the clusters are left with or is left with the researcher. So yun. But of course, as I have mentioned, we started embracing technology and specifically AI in qualitative data analysis. And I guess based on the literature, we can find ways of balancing the speed of AI and the accuracy of the human conceptualization with the data. All right, so I will cover tracing the evolving epistemics of QDA. I'll talk about in this part. I will be talking about the article which we looked at the trend of qualitative data analysis using AI in the past 5 years. That's from 2021 to 2025. We examined the literature, what is going on in the literature, and then I will advance to talking about some practical guidelines in using AI in qualitative data analysis. I prepared some tips, and then some of the illustrations, and then because we are very familiar, no, and I guess we will all agree that one of the most popular, if not the most popular, methods we apply in analyzing qualitative data is Braun and Clark's thematic analysis in 2006. So I take advantage of these guidelines, align these guidelines with the six thematic analysis steps of Braun and Clark, so that the next time we use, or if you happen to include Braun and Clark in your thesis or dissertation, you have some guidelines how to accomplish each step of the six-step process of Braun and Clark. Upholding the principles or the practical guidelines of AI use in qualitative data analysis. And then I will end, although in between I will be demonstrating the application of the six-step thematic analysis process of Braun and Clark in MaxQDA. My favorite software. It's good that you will have different software today. I know you had at last DI last week with Dr. Nilo, but today I'll be introducing another software, the MaxQDA software, and then I will apply the aligned Braun and Clark with AI, or the AI aligned six-step process of Braun and Clark in the process of the MaxQDA software. And then I'll end my presentation with the GAITA framework. GAITA is the prompting and workflow framework primarily posited or proposed by Nguyen Trong just recently, on how to outline the prompts and how to proceed step by step with the process of integrating AI in thematic analysis or qualitative data analysis. Okay, so I hope that I would be able to cover enough for you to make use of this training, whatever you learn from here, in your actual thesis or dissertation. And I hope that there will be a lot among us here who will also do dissertation or thesis that integrate or embed qualitative methods on it. Okay, so I hope you are ready. Please bear with me. Again, I will be using the Word document as I guess you're all in your computers anyway, so I don't think this will be much of a problem viewing this. We had so many activities lined up lately, so I wasn't able to prepare slides for this presentation. All right, so I'll talk about our upcoming article. This is on a preprint stage, submitted to a journal, but currently undergoing review. We have this reflexive human AI collaboration. From the title itself, we have the word reflexive, which upholds primarily the known tradition or tenet of qualitative data analysis, the reflexivity process. And we emphasize this AI integration in qualitative data analysis is always paired with human cognition or human analysis. So it's going to be human and AI collaboration exhibiting reflexivity. So in this presentation, I emphasize that AI in qualitative data analysis undergoes or upholds reflexivity still, but in a different package, considering that it's no longer just the researcher and the other human beings involved in the process that will undergo reflexivity, but we also have to consider the reflexivity manifested or demonstrated by the AI itself. No, while AI is not, thinking the way humans do, there's reflexivity. We also need to consider in the way AIs respond to our prompts. In this paper, we simply look at the evolving epistemics of qualitative inquiry from 2021 to 2025. So what we did here was we browsed the Scopus database. We looked at the existing studies. No, I will go through each, and I have highlighted parts of the presentation or parts of the document that will be helpful for us. Okay, so um, we emphasize that qualitative research, regardless of whatever you introduce, AI, whatever software is provided, whatever algorithm is provided, we still go back to the basic tradition of qualitative research. What is qualitative research? So, paulit-ulit, no? Hindi nawawala yung identity ng qualitative research kahit gamitan natin ng software, gamitan natin ng AI, no? Qualitative research is still an interpretive research, no? An interpretive inquiry. There is part of the process that the mind of the human person or the human being is actively making sense of the data. So we always go back to that principle. So if in your qualitative data analysis nawawala yun, if nawawala yung element ng human cognition or human mind is actively interpreting the data, then lumilihis tayo sa tradisyon ng qualitative research. So hindi po advisable 'yon. So tiningnan natin yung buong literature for the past 5 years. We look at about 1,800 articles, and we see paano ang nagiging behavior ng mga studies when it comes to dealing with the old and the known tradition or tenets of qualitative research. And it manifests na qualitative research, regardless, kahit anong taon ang dinaanan, remains to be a qualitative research and true to its tradition. Interpretive research siya, context sensitive inquiry siya. Ibig sabihin, meanings are socially constructed, meanings are social, meanings are spatial, meanings are temporal, no? So we go back to the idea na it reflects primarily to the context of where the study was conducted. The purpose of that inquiry is to understand how human beings interact, how human beings pay attention to the social world and construct meaning from that interaction or from that experience. All right, so these are the known traditions of qualitative research, or our known definition of qualitative research. And we bring along this definition with us as we advance in this training this morning. We go back to the idea that qualitative research remains to be a qualitative research in terms of its identity, regardless of what software or AI or technology we introduce. The purpose of qualitative research is to go deeper in our examination. Ang tawag natin dyan is to have a more of a vertical exploration rather than a horizontal generalization. Unlike in quantitative research, which basically wants to generalize a certain sample size to a general population through quantitative techniques or statistical techniques. In qualitative research, we go deeper. We may have smaller numbers, but the goal of the process is to dig deeper. Okay, so we don't go away, we don't veer away from that tradition, even if we use AI. Our goal still is to go deeper, and we stick to that tradition. We explore complexity. So we look at the nuances, we explore the different lenses, we explore the different perspectives, we triangulate, we look at different data sources, and we deal with this with some degree of subjectivity. Lagi nating inuulit yan sa qualitative research. We don't suspend subjectivity, or we don't attempt to address subjectivity in qualitative research, because in the first place, that is the main characteristic of qualitative research, to be subjective at a certain point, regardless of the process of the algorithm. No, we undergo, for example, in the use of AI, we undergo some embedding, we undergo some tokenization in the process, and we quantify our qualitative data, but still the level of subjectivity will manifest, no, and will be demonstrated, and later we will talk about how primarily these characteristics of qualitative research are still being observed, even if you use AI in your analysis. Qualitative research assumes that reality is socially constructed. So we stick to this tenet as well, that reality is social, reality is subjective, reality is created by the community itself, where the data was sourced. No? So we uphold the importance that the dealing or the experiences of participants are thoroughly explored, even if we use AI. All right, so these are the old and the known principles and definition of qualitative research that we uh, bring with us in understanding how this will be preserved, even if there's an AI or a technology that we introduce in the process of analyzing qualitative data. I'll go back to the idea of reflexivity, because the entire article talks about being reflexive between human and AI in terms of their collaboration in the analysis. Traditionally, reflexivity is the defining hallmark of qualitative research. Ang explanation ko diyan, or ang illustration ko diyan sa mga trainings is it's like extending the process of reflecting, no. Kapag tayo ay nagre-reflect, para tayong humarap lang sa mirror, no, ang nakikita natin sarili natin. But pag sinabi nating being reflexive is doing more than that, or going beyond that, facing yourself in the mirror, at the same time observing lahat ng nasa ating peripheries, no? So observing natin kung ano yung location natin, kung ano yung context natin, saan tayo particularly situated. So that's being reflexive, situating or locating yourself in the system where other elements have an influence on your behavior, or on your or on being a person. So that's how we define reflexivity, and that's very important in qualitative research. That's a very important principle to understand in qualitative research, because we want a holistic and a thorough analysis of our data, and that is what we practice. We locate each data set in the context of so many factors that may influence the behavior of the observed subject or object of our research. Okay, allow me to close my video this time. My internet starts to be unstable, so please bear with me. All right, so I started to look at the trend of emerging AI and other AI-assisted qualitative data analysis. Ang dami na natin mga softwares ngayon, no? I'm using Max QDA. Others are using Atlas TI, and many others. Others are also using in vivo. These are all highly capable softwares or programs to analyze qualitative data. In fact, there are more that are highly AI based. My Orange, for example, that can do a lot of powerful visualizations with your qualitative data. What does AI do? It revolutionizes data management. Ang bilis, no? When you use AI, ang bilis maglinis. For example, if you use Orange software, the process of normalization is very easy. You don't have to manually, for example, if you have 56,000 pages of or pages of data, no, to analyze, you don't have to manually look at them and check for words that you have to remove, no? Meron na tayong word list, for example, na ipa-plug natin for the data preparation, and the software itself will remove all those words that we don't want to be included in the analysis. So ang bilis, no? So in terms of data management, data normalization, ang bilis, no? And we find it very helpful in preparing our data before we do the actual analysis. Very efficient yung ating handling, and mas rigorous yung analysis natin, considering that we know na lahat ng mga hindi natin kailangan na tokens, for example, or words, for example, sa isang data set ay natanggal na, no? So yun yung advantage if you use AI. By the way, I'm using the term token. I primarily refer to words, not phrases, in my use of the term token. AI supports literature and systematic reviews. Ang dami po na publications ngayon around literature reviews, like narrative literature reviews, systematic reviews, such as meta-analysis, meta-synthesis. May mga scoping reviews tayo, may mga bibliometrics tayo katulad nitong ginagawa natin, scientometric processes using the metadata of the publications, and AI is very useful in doing that, no? Scopus has also the Scopus AI, which facilitates the process of retrieval, analysis, or making sense of the literature on a particular topic. One thing is evident, no, in the literature review. AI remains to be an assistive tool. No, AI is not supposed to replace humans in the analysis. That's very important to consider this time. So consider this as the most important tenet now in the AI era of qualitative data analysis. AI is not meant to replace humans in the analysis process. No, AI remains to be an assistant or assistive tool. Humans will still handle the conceptualization and the thematization of the data. No, other than that, we have to, according to literature and according to the old tenets of qualitative research, we are going away from the idea, no, or the philosophy of qualitative research if we go away from that. Because AI has limitations and weaknesses, we propose hybridization. So basically, we have methodological hybridization, which is the blending of algorithmic efficiency with human interpretive depth. Now, it's always the human minds that can explore the depth of the data. Bakit? Because the human mind has a better understanding of the cultural context of the data, for example, and all other considerations in your data, that the software or the AI may not be trained to pay attention to, especially sa konteksto natin sa Pilipinas. Although there are many Filipinos who are AI trainers as well, but many of the AIs are trained according to literature in a Western context or in a Western culture, and there are many times that AI will not be able to detect some cultural or culture specific information or data. We call it the cultural bias as part of the algorithmic bias of AI. So mahirap 'yon. Okay, so the solution to that is we treat AI or the use of AI in qualitative data analysis under the lens of methodological hybrid or hybridization, which is basically the interplay between human interpretation and the algorithmic efficiency of the machine. I'll go straight to the process now. By the way, before I do that, I will just highlight the gap of the study that I wanted to address in this topic. Um, Literature about or consolidating the use of AI in qualitative research remains fragmented this time, very discipline specific and largely descriptive. So, what I wanted to do here in this article is to have a consolidated picture of what is going on in the field of or in the integration of AI in qualitative data analysis as in terms of the research outputs. So that is primarily what I wanted to do, and I'm guided by the research objective, which is to systematically map, no, to map or conduct a thematic mapping of the themes that are emerging or the trending themes when it comes to AI in qualitative data analysis. Primarily, I envision to I endeavor to answer four research questions. First is in terms of the core themes and the conceptual clusters that define the landscape of AI integration in QDA or in qualitative research in the past 5 years, okay? And how these themes evolved over time by looking at the evolution map of the themes and the uh, cluster networks of each of these important themes per period of the evolution, and then some of the methodological, ethical, and pedagogical directions of AI in qualitative data analysis. I can provide you copy of this article as soon as it gets um, accepted for or published. No, so what I did was I did a scientometric analysis of about 2,000 or about 1,800 Scopus documents, and of course, documents retrieved from Scopus using the following string or search keywords. Last October 30, 2025, started getting, um, sorry, I started getting 2,179, and then from filtering uh, through years and English language, I arrive at 1,862 documents that were considered for the analysis. So we looked at where these articles are being published at the basic of the bibliometric analysis now. We see the shifting interest, no, in AI, from it started to be one with BMJ Open Journal of Medicine Medical Internet Research. Now it's getting more into uh, the the surging now is the Journal of Medical Internet Research. Now it's shifting, but the interest on AI is sustained. In terms of country, we see there US, China, United Kingdom, and then most of this is published in the Medicine and Social Sciences and Computer Science, University of Toronto, etc. In terms of the countries, we say that there's a widespread adoption of AI methodologies in qualitative research across both Western and Asian regions. And then in terms of the disciplinary distribution, it's diverse. It cuts across health, social, and computational sciences. If you see the map, no. And then we can also say na ang interest in AI cuts across all continents, no, from North America, Europe, Asia, and Oceania. All right. So I used SciMat, which is a science mapping tool, in understanding the themes of AI integration and qualitative data analysis. I followed this workflow. Um, this is a 10-step process of SciMat, just to look at the One is the evolution map, and the other one is the overlap map. And also by in terms of thematic dynamics and structure, I used the strategic diagram output of SciMath. So here, just to show you some of the interesting outputs or results of the research. No, this one is the strategic diagram for the first period, 2021 to 2023, with the corresponding cluster uh, network. We say here that in 2021 to 2023, we consider that year as an early and decisive stage of convergence from the traditional qualitative inquiry and computational approaches. So dito pumasok yung nagiging um, ano na, madami nag-uumpisa na madami ng gumagamit, and I can relate because it was also in 2020 that I started to embrace AI or technology, no, in qualitative data analysis. It was also in 2020 that I started to hold trainings on CACDAS or computer assisted qualitative data analysis. Now this is interesting. It manifests, no, it's the decisive stage, no, of convergence between the traditional process of analyzing qualitative data and the use of computational science in analyzing qualitative data. So I talked about each of the cluster networks here. Period 1 primarily represents an exploratory stage. Nag-uumpisa, no? Pumasok si AI, nakikipagkamayan si AI, nakikipag-friend si AI sa ating mga traditional qualitative data analysis researchers, no? The test period for the hybrid methodological approaches, no, people are starting to use this technology, etc., laying the groundwork for the more integrated and ethically mature configuration that developed in the later period. So in the second period, or in the second phase, which happens in 2024, this is now the thematic consolidation and the emergent AI integration. So here we observe that it's being slowly accepted, it's being adopted, no, by the looks at the strategic diagram. Still, patient care is a top motor um, theme, no, high centrality, high density theme in our map, and we say that you know na, nagmamanifest masyado in the field of medical sciences. So the use of AI in qualitative research is primarily observed in health research, no. Although the data shows that and madami din sa social sciences, but many of the applications captured in the thematic scientific mapping are those studies in the health side. No? This thematic landscape for 2024 reflects a AI strategy that starts to mature and starts to be integrated in the human procedures or human processes. Meaning to say, in this period in 2024, nagmamanifest na si human being as part of the as a big how do you call that, actor in the analysis process, no? We started to see here the pattern of AI human collaboration in 2024. It's a collaborative process. It's more of an enhancement of the process rather than a replacement of the human process. So yun yung trend in 2024. And then when we entered 2025, just this year, so our graph tells us that, you know, there is already a full integration of human and AI collaboration, but as we started to pay attention now to the ethical implication of the human AI collaboration in qualitative data analysis. So this is where we started talking about the human as a subject of the research and the preservation of the human of the human as a being in the analysis. No? So we also find here the implication of the AI human collaboration in terms of pedagogy, no? Or the pedagogical implication of the human AI interaction. So to close this part of my presentation, I will present some of the highlights of the study on the trend of using AI in qualitative data analysis. So here we have the convergence from the original from the original tradition or tenets of qualitative research to embracing AI in qualitative research. We saw a stable thematic pathway in terms of semi-structured interview. So we find from literature that even if AI is used, semi-structured interview are still the core themes in qualitative research. You know? And then it starts to branch out into different disciplines, patients in terms of medical sciences, students in the social or educational sciences, reflecting very adaptive direction, no, of AI integration in QDA. So we observed three patterns of the evolution in this study. One is the methodological continuity of our original tenets. So dito natin nakikita na ang qualitative research ay nananatiling qualitative research, dala-dala or baon-baon ni qualitative research ang kaniyang identity or tenets bilang isang qualitative research, but adaptive siya of the technology AI through a methodological hybridization process. Okay. Second theme or pattern that we observe in the mapping that we did, there's a lumalalim or deepening human-centric reflexivity. So we start to redefine reflexivity in the age of AI. So perhaps the next paper that we can write is on the redefinition or the revisiting of the reflexivity now that AI or that reflexivity does not only pertain to the reflexivity of the human beings involved in the process of doing the research, but also reflexivity with the human machine interaction. No? So perhaps we can do, or some of you perhaps can explore that part of the investigation. And then finally, the pattern also, we also see a pattern in terms of pedagogical and professional institutionalization of AI assisted qualitative inquiry. So it started to branch out to different disciplines, and now we are seeing the application of this in educational institutions. And I guess this is one of the manifestations, no, or the evidence that we can see na talagang pinag-usapan ang AI sa educational institutions. Okay, so there's a pragmatic rebalancing of labor. So nagbalanse tayo later in the guidelines when we go straight to the top studies, no, in terms of AI integration and qualitative research. We see there na hindi hindi nawawalan si human being ng trabaho sa AI assisted QDA. So nagre-rebalance lang tayo sa ating papel or role na ginagampanan when doing qualitative data analysis. Hindi po epistemic surrender. Walang nangyayaring pag-surrender ng ating role na ginagampanan sa qualitative data analysis, bagkus we are embracing the fact na meron tayong assistant. So napapabilis yung proseso, nagiging efficient. Later ipapakita natin paano through our guidelines. Okay, so to close this part of the presentation, okay, we have here some of the important findings. The presence of qualitative research themes suggests that the traditions of interpretivism, constructivism, and reflexivity remain key reference points in AI-assisted QDA. So when you do AI-assisted QDA later on, go back to the tenets of qualitative research, the original. Wag nating kalimutan. So pag nag-aral tayo ng qualitative research, wag munang tumalon agad sa software. Balikan natin ang tradisyon ng qualitative research, hindi nawawala yun. Okay, so one of the important things that we highlight or I emphasize in this article is these are still key reference points in AI-assisted qualitative research. We are still doing an interpretivist research. We are still upholding constructivism in the process, and we are still demonstrating reflexivity. And this time, it's even more interesting because we exhibit reflexivity together with the machine in terms of our interaction with the machine or the impact of the machine on our reflexivity process. Okay, so we uphold that meaning is socially constructed and context dependent. As I have said, it is spatial and temporal in terms of its meaning. I also emphasize that the themes related to health, personal attitude, patient care, global inequities, ito yung nagiging 2025 theme natin, di ba? So makikita natin na nag-uumpisa tayo dito tumingin sa ethical aperture, no, ng ating pag-embrace ng AI in QDA. So, dito natin tinitingnan to avoid bias, promoting inequity or inequality in the process, which we will be covering later when we look at the algorithmic biases of employing AI in qualitative research. No? The pedagogical turn, no, as I have said, we are now embracing AI in educational institutions. Perhaps for us in the academe, we say na talaga namang sa educational institutions yung AI QDA. But if you look at the literature of QDA, ang dami pong QDA, mas marami pa po sa atin yung sa health, no, sa nursing, sa medical field, nandun yung many of the qualitative research. And it also shows this time na nandun pa din yung most of the applications. But now we are embracing the AI in educational institutions, and we call it a pedagogical turn, wherein we introduce AI in almost all aspects of the educational process. It's human-centered AI. It's a synergy of human being and human interpretation and machine efficiency or algorithmic efficiency that gives us very powerful combination or synergy in qualitative data analysis. So what do we hope to advance in the future research on AI in qualitative data analysis? One is we should move beyond debating the compatibility of AI with qualitative inquiry. Tapos na po, na-resolve na natin yan. Our next step is to specify what specific tools ang nag-a-align with distinct methodological traditions and epistemological commitments. Inumpisahan ko na. Sa dulo ng aking presentation, I'll introduce MaxQDA and I'll try to match MaxQDA's features with the 6 thematic analysis steps of Braun and Clark and applying the different principles or guidelines that we extract from literature in terms of the use of AI in QDA. Second, the prominence of ethics, human-centered themes, and global equity underscores the need for context-sensitive governance frameworks that address differentiated risks across settings, especially in low and middle income and multilingual contexts. We acknowledge na kailangan ng AI policy bawat institution. More than that, I also highlight in this paper that we need a separate AI policy in the use or separate policy in the use of AI in qualitative data analysis. Just like the struggle, no? If you have read our chapter in the Sage Handbook of Qualitative Research in the Asian Context, we emphasize na may mga parts ng traditional or the conventional policies natin in ethics na hindi applicable sa qualitative research. So there are parts of the ethics or policies on ethics, general policies on ethics use or general policies on ethics, ethical AI use in our university that may not be attuned to the application of AI in qualitative research. So we emphasize the need for more, going beyond that and coming up with a separate policy for the integration of AI on qualitative research. AI literacy should be treated as a core competence in qualitative education. So we're moving beyond the debate of whether AI should be considered. So if you look at also the World Conference on Qualitative Research, we have moved beyond that as well. No, and my plan next is to look at the big publication venues for qualitative research and see also the trend or the pattern in these journals if these are manifested. So these are some of the directions that perhaps some of you na may interest sa qualitative research can contact me. We can work together. Ang dami po natin pwedeng i-explore next. No? Tingnan natin if this is manifested across all the big journals in qualitative research. And finally, yung ChatGPT and other LLMs suggest that generative AI will remain a contested frontier. So araw-araw nag-undergo ng tension ang AI in different natures or different contexts and nagbabago, nag-improve. Right now, laging nag-improve. I was surprised to see that yesterday, Chat GPT 5.1 na pala tayo. I never thought na ang bilis eh. Parang last month lang tayo nag 5.0, nag 5.1 na agad. Now, and I'm excited to explore the enhanced version of ChatGPT, requiring robust criteria for when AI's contribution constitute analytic labor and how they should be acknowledged and where ethical boundaries lie. So, okay, so these are some of the next considerations when it comes to the trajectory of AI, call it AI QDA research. Okay, so again, in the interest of time, I'm going to ask you to reserve your questions up to the Q&A portion of this presentation because I'm about to move on to the next part of the presentation, which is the presentation of the guidelines or specific guidelines, contextual guidelines, Philippine-based guidelines or Philippine adapted guidelines in terms of AI use in qualitative data analysis. Again, please bear with me. I hope you don't mind. I'm using Word document as my presentation. Saan na ba yan? Here. Okay, there. I hope you are seeing my screen now. I will be sharing this after I fix the references, and I'm not sure if I have already done the references list. Okay. So pwede na pala itong i-share. I have done the reference list already. All right. So I'll talk about the practical guidelines for using AI in qualitative research. Feel free to use them, these guidelines, modify these guidelines, but please, cite this document as the original document for these guidelines. The suggested citation is there. All right. So I'll be talking 12 or 11 areas of the AI integration and qualitative research. The defining the role of AI in qualitative research, AI collaboration, ethical standards, algorithmic bias. Pag-usapan natin ano ba yung mga algorithmic bias natin. And then perhaps we can also ask you to share if you have any experience about any of these biases. Prompts, paano gumawa ng prompts, engineering, how do we formulate prompts? How do we do validation of AI outputs, audit trail, reflexivity, the small Q and the big Q orientations of qualitative research. I hope you have talked about this in your qualitative methods class, no? The small Q and the big Q qualitative. Task where AI is appropriate and not appropriate, and the transparency in the process. So let's look at the key principles of each of these areas or parts of the guidelines. Okay, so when you say what is the role of AI in qualitative data analysis, the direct answer is AI is there to augment, not to replace the human interpretation. So AI is an assistant, not an analyst. So I think we don't have to expound this more. We know the difference between somebody who is assisting us and somebody who is there analyzing the data for us. No, okay. So nagmamanifest. So I guess I have introduced myself much, no, that I used to be a hardcore traditional or old style qualitative researcher, and I guess it still manifests this time by being conservative with the use of AI in a qualitative data analysis. AI is not to replace human, and I need to look at the literature to to support that, no. If you look at Nguyen and Welch, in page 6, sabi niya, the AI should not perform full thematic analysis independently. So tandaan natin yan. It should not perform full thematic analysis. O'Connor, sabi niya, AI is most useful for preliminary scans and efficiency only. Tingnan mo sa umpisa, pwede mo siya sabihan, can you look at how many words are spoken, how many times this word appears, or what are the most frequently occurring words, what are the general classification of the answers, etc. Full AI-led qualitative analysis risk flattening the narrative nuance. No, this is the risk that we are trying to avoid, according to Guyanes. And human researchers are considered to be the primary meaning makers. Hindi nawawala sa atin yun, yung pagiging main actor natin sa data analysis. So, if it is not observing this, then we have to reconsider our AI, our qualitative data analysis approach. Okay? Some practical guidelines that we can bring with us. So maybe we can put this in a cheat sheet, no? The AI as a tool, it's not an analyst, no? It's a tool. It's not a meaning maker. It's not an epistemic authority. So we don't trust the face on face value. We don't trust on face value what AI is telling us as a thematic. In fact, we don't do that. We don't tell AI to do the thematic analysis for us. Now, perhaps we can start now, or we can cluster, we can etc. Next, the human oversight. Now, every time we ask the machine to do the surface level organization, we can we need to go over, the outputs. And the key principle that we observe here is that human judgment is central to every stage of the analysis. No? We don't intend to replace the the conceptual power of the human mind to do the conceptualization. Okay. From the literature, we say that interpretation, decision making, and ethics require human intelligence. Ethics require human intelligence. And this is something that we are, as I have said, no, I'm not saying that hanggang sa dulo ay ganito yung magiging tono ko kapag nagto-talk ako in qualitative research. In fact, nagbago ako. So from the time I was very heavy in terms of the traditional methods, now I'm embracing AI. But perhaps sooner or later, also this could change. As I have said kanina, na-emphasize natin na AI in QDA is a frontier. It's changing every day. No, it battles with tension every day, and it redefines itself every day. AI outputs must be reviewed and validated, and over-reliance leads to depersonalized and mechanical analysis. As I've, as we have noted in the previous parts of the discussion, nawawala yung pagiging human being, nawawala yung personal touch, which is the key characteristic of a qualitative research. Now, right? So never allow AI outputs to be self-validating. Always question and verify. So AI outputs are there to serve as our guide, but never to become the sole authority or the absolute thematic structure of our data. Okay? We verify, we question, we always, in fact, we use the word always, all the time. Question, tama ba to? Ito ba ay naaayon sa kung ano yung meron tayo sa ating konteksto? Kasi always remember, AI may be trained in a context that is different from us. So kapag nagtitrain tayo kay AI, nag-feed tayo ng data. Nag-feed tayo ng data kay AI na galing sa konteksto na maaring hindi representative of the context, no, na kung saan natin ginawa yung research. So magkakaroon tayo ng cultural bias there. So yun, always question, always validate the outputs provided by the machine. The third guide that I'd like to emphasize is the ethical use, sorry, consent, privacy, and security. We say na every institution must develop a unique and context-based policy in the use of AI, because AI introduces new ethical obligations, no? So, yung mga sinusulat natin dati, in fact, that is the intention of the Sage Handbook of Qualitative Research in the Asian Context. I already heard from the editor that soon we will be revising, no, considering the rise of AI use in qualitative data analysis. And the fact that AI has introduced new ethical obligations, it also translates to a different AI ethics statement on qualitative research now. AI tools risk privacy breaches. Lagi siguro naririnig na natin na kapag nagpa-plug tayo ng information or data sa ChatGPT, por favor, tanggalan natin ng mga identifiers, lalo na kapag ang ginagamit natin ay live data or galing mismo sa or raw data from our data collection. Wag lagyan ng pangalan, wag lagyan ng lugar or any identifier. You can use some substitute identifiers because that's part of our obligation when we promise them that we will not be, unless you have asked the participants that this will be run through AI or this will be analyzed using AI, part of the informed consent also. So magbabago na rin yung informed consent natin, lagyan na rin natin ng, statement doon na kung sino ang magpa-process nito or ano magpa-process nito. So, part na rin ng ating protocol, lalo na sa mga taga-ethics committee, na i-specify how do we deal with this data as part of our data analysis. So sabihin natin this will be processed using ChatGPT or this will be processed by Scopus AI, because primarily if we plug this information or data in AI, it becomes as part of the database of AI that will train itself or that will be used by itself in training itself, no? So magkakaroon ng breach sa ating commitment sa ating participants if we leak this to even if it's AI, para sabihin natin AI yun eh, ang laki na ng database, but still, no, it has access to our database. Okay, consent must explicitly address AI use, so parang redefinition or revisiting of the informed consent. So baguhin na yung mga concern. For example, may mga research directors sa atin dito. Part siguro ng ating next na gagawin is to revise our informed consent and make sure we specify there in the informed consent kung sino or paano natin gagamitin yung AI sa pag-process ng ating data. Data ownership and rights issues may also arise. Na practical guidelines that I can offer is that use only anonymized. No? So we anonymize the same process. No? We anonymize and we subject the protocol to ethics for clearance and for approval and clearance. No? Update consent forms to disclose AI involvement. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, lahat ng mga communications natin to the participants must include disclosure na may gagamitin tayong AI in processing their data. Okay? So, pasok tayo sa algorithmic bias. Ito yung palagi kong binabanggit kanina. Bias due to the design of the training of the AI itself. So may tatlo tayong types of bias dito na pwedeng pag-uusapan. May linguistic bias, may cultural bias, and may demographic bias tayo according to Olawade et al. 2025. Bias is present in all AI models and must be monitored. Inherent sa AI ang bias kasi unang-una, tinitrain natin si AI eh. So AI is also a trained tool, no? So ang context and training of AI will also matter when it comes to understanding the responses of AI to our prompts. Bias may appear linguistically, culturally, and demographically, and AI tools must represent or may misrepresent participants' sentiments. So if AI cannot capture the cultural nuance of the data set, mean it may not be able to capture the real sentiments of the participants because of the fact that it cannot understand this statement. For example, yung mga jokes natin sa Pilipinas, hindi tayo nga mismo hindi tayo nagkaintindihan sa mga jokes natin. Yung mga taga-ibang provinces, for example, hindi naiintindihan yung jokes ng mga Bisaya, for example, na parang na-o-offend sila. So, that's the same context, no? Kapag sinabi natin may possibility of a cultural disconnect between an AI and the context of the data, ganun din yon. So because AI is trained to think this way, or AI is trained to capture these meanings in this particular context, and whether we like it or not, the context of AI training is highly Western, no? So it left those in the global South, which is basically the point of many of the arguments now against in the lens of ethics, in the lens of bias in terms of the algorithmic design. Stereotypes in training data may affect the outputs. Yeah, because as I've said, that the training data may be obtained from different sources and different contexts and may not be able to capture exactly the context of where the study is being generated. So pag kami ay magkakaroon ng research, for example, about sa kahirapan dito sa Zamboanga del Norte, maaaring hindi siya maintindihan exactly, no, ng AI because no, hindi naman galing sa mismong area. I'm using the term may because there's a possibility. It's a possibility. No? Uh, Check all AI generated categories. This is our practical tip. Check the AI generated categories or themes for possible bias, especially in multilingual or non-Western data sets. No, for example, we plugged in we placed our prompt, and then we received the responses, and then we looked at how these prompts are treating the data. Then we can check for possible bias in the answers of of AI, no? Number 5, for our practical guidelines is the development of the prompts. Make sure that it's context aware. Ano ba ang pinag-uusapan niyo dito? So, for example, ako, pag nagpa-prompt ako, for example, ng isang context-specific na tanong, I always emphasize ano bang meron dito? And sino ako sa tanong ko na ito? So, I always say, for example, I am a university professor in a university in one of the poorest provinces in the Philippines. Just to signal that the cultural sensitivity and the contextual precision will be activated in our AI. No? So this is being highlighted in the work of Nguyen and Welsh in 2025. Prompts should be validated before using. I don't know if you have tried this, but I also experiment with prompts. No, I try to see how the AI responds to the prompts, and sometimes AI is doing the same thing as well. No, tinatanong ni AI sa atin, which do you prefer for my answer? So AI will give you two answers or possible answers, and then you will select. It's one way also of AI trying to reach out to you and understand your context, how specifically you want AI to respond to your queries, no, or to your prompts. Okay, and because context-aware prompts will help misinterpretation, we can include the research purpose. For example, when we ask AI's assistance, no, in clustering, for example, or in extracting excerpts from data set that fall within this particular research objective. No? For example, you're asking AI to extract verbatim statements from the interview transcript that falls within this research question. So you don't just give the research question that you're interested in. You give the context of the study. So what is this study all about? The general purpose of the study is this. This study is conducted in a poor province. The participants are teachers, no? So the source of data are teachers, etc. So just to let AI understand fully what this study is all about, no? To understand the purpose, the context, the epistemology, and the analytical expectations in your prompts. So it helps itself align with your expectations, no? If you give more information, be very specific. Do not be broad. As I've always emphasized, every time I give lectures, control is very important in the use of AI. We make sure that we have full control of the interaction between the human or between you and the AI. Hold on for a while. All right, so include the research purpose, context, the epistemology, and analytical expectations in your prompts. Next, this one is very important as well because we rarely pay attention to this. Pag sa traditional qualitative research, may tinatawag tayong triangulation. Ang tawag natin dito sa AI QDA is multi-level validation. No? So pwede nating sabihin na validation or tawag natin dyan, reliability checking between AI and human person, human to human, human AI human, etc. So different ways, no? AI results must undergo multiple layers of validation. As I've emphasized, the more that we need to validate this, because we have already done we have embraced the objective methods, no, of uh, you know analyzing the data. Okay, so ang lagi kasi nating sagot dati kapag nagta-traditional qualitative data analysis tayo is validation may not be that applicable except for the fact that we do trustworthiness something, we do member checking, etc. But it's not a very important question in qualitative research before because we know that the researchers themselves are the most important validators of their work because they're the ones who understand fully the context of the study, and they're also the ones assuming that they're the ones gathering the data and having the full understanding or perception of the context of the study. But this time, it is highly recommended that we undergo multi-level or different levels of validation of the AI outputs every time we employ AI in QDA. Number one is human expert review. So, basic yan. So, pinaka-basic dito sa validation process is tingnan mo, busisiin mo, wag mong i-submit na walang validation galing sa'yo yung mga outputs ng AI. Number two is compare natin, no? For example, you are using MaxQDA. If you have the means, compare it with in vivo, for example, if my in terms of their automated or automatic coding features, no? Or if you're using a chat GPT, for example, you can compare chat GPT output with Gemini output, etc., and try to see which one is more representative or more faithful to the nature and the context of your study. Member checking is going back to the data sources, accuracy checking with the participants. We do that in the traditional qualitative data analysis, and we still encourage researchers to undergo member checking with our participants. Peer review, especially for collaborative research, we can undergo peer review process. And different data set triangulation. So, dati ang hina-highlight natin triangulation lang, pero ngayon triangulation is one phase of the validation process na gagawin natin sa AI. I'm not saying na pinahirapan ko ang AI integration in QDA. I'm just trying to give you the context. Ano na ba? Saan na ba tayo in terms of AI integration in QDA? Okay, so I've check the literature and make sure that these recommendations or guidelines that I am showing to you today are supported by the literature. Practical guideline that I can offer today is there should be no code or category or theme that should be accepted unless validated through. Perhaps you can set, no, I say the most, the least is two, but you can be stricter, you can say three, or you can say at in all five aspects you have to do that. Now, whichever is applicable, it depends, no, on your guidelines. So perhaps we can also modify our guidelines in terms of qualitative research. I know PNU has guidelines on different research designs. So perhaps it's about time that we can also look at the guidelines of qualitative data analysis and see whether these are reflected in our guidelines, the multi-layer validation of AI assisted qualitative data analysis. The audit trail, establishing a transparent method of AI. So, ito yung common, ito yung madalas nating maririnig sa mga speakers ng AI, no? The prompts must be properly recorded, the model of the AI must be declared, etc. Lahat ng kumpletong listahan ng prompts, kumpletong listahan ng sagot na may timestamp, 'yan yung mga hinihingi ng ibang journals, 'no. Ano yung nagiging interaction ng human person and the responses of the prompts, 'no? Maybe some of you can do a study on this. We uphold reflexivity process in understanding the prompts of or the responses of AI to our prompts, no? And then try to see, no, pattern, no, of AI machine reflexivity, or we can try to model machine human reflexivity in analyzing, for example, data in science education. So maybe we can also venture into that, no? We also it is also a good practice, no, to submit the analytic trajectories of our uh, of the analysis, no, ano yung magiging historical phase na dinaanan ng thematic analysis mo, no, just to show transparency. So every step of the process we document and then we present it to the evaluators. I'm trying to fast track the presentation in the interest of time. So please bear with me. I'll be providing you a copy of this anyway. So the eighth guideline that I'm going to share is reflexivity process. No, so as I have emphasized kanina, reflexivity is present even if it is AI assisted. It cannot be outsourced. No, so it's something that we cannot buy. The reflexivity method is something that is inherent in every person, shaped by the experiences of that person. And no, you cannot buy and you cannot outsource that. You cannot let the machine do the reflexivity for you, but we can endeavor to understand the dynamics of the human machine interaction and understanding their reflexivity, no? Researchers must document the assumptions, ano yung mga nagiging preliminary assumptions natin, and our interpretive decisions in every stage of the analysis. In the same way that we are doing that in the traditional qualitative data analysis. AI can serve as a devil's advocate to challenge assumptions. So you can play around with AI. Now you can tell AI that I strongly believe that a reflexivity cannot be outsourced, and then try to ask AI, what do you think? What can you say? So now, that's just an example. So you can do the same thing when you set your assumptions before before you start your QDA or before you start your analysis, and then start to train AI how your mind works. No? It's one way of telling AI that this is how my mind works, and perhaps you can start familiarizing it. No? Um, for the practical guideline, I say incorporate reflexive memos. No, so later I'm going to show you that Max QDA is very good in terms of memos, and one of the things that I really like about Max QDA is the memo part. portion of the software, you can have memos, and you have a very efficient way of retrieval of the memos and the analysis of the memos. Next, number 9 is analyzing the AI use with qualitative paradigms. Okay, so go back to the epistemology of the study. No, it must align with a small q or a big Q qualitative value. So I think familiar na tayo sa small q or the big Q. Ang big Q natin is a very comprehensive description of a qualitative method, starting from the epistemological and ontological paradigm of the method that we use. The small q is more more refers to the method or the approaches or the procedures that are qualitative in nature that we are using, without much mention or attention or elaboration of the philosophical foundation, no, or grounding of the study. So in in the case of AI, we always emphasize this. There should be a balance, no? Emphasizing the epistemological and ontological foundation of your qualitative research must be there. So, pag ikaw ay nag-case or nag-grounded theory, ano ba ang epistemological and ontological foundation ng grounded theory? So, bumalik kayo doon para maintindihan ni AI yung kaniyang role bilang assistant mo in the analysis, and magiging epistemology specific yung ating analysis. Para akong lasing. Anyway, avoid mixing positivist assumptions with constructivist paradigms. That's the uh, old recommendation, no, among ourselves. While we say that there should be a mixed methods, we uphold mixed methods, but there are several aspects of the constructivist paradigms that really do not align with the positivist assumption. So might as well embrace mixed methods that do not offer opportunity for the clash between the constructivist paradigms and the positivist paradigms. But I'm not discouraging mixed methods. In fact, mixed methods is highly encouraged, again, but we have to be very specific in the parts where we employ qualitative research. That this is a qualitative research design part now, and qualitative research design part, even if it is within the umbrella of general mixed methods design, still carries along the tenets and the tradition of qualitative research. Number 10 is the appropriate and the inappropriate uses of AI. AI is appropriate for, although I'm going to have a more discussion on this later in the alignment of these guidelines with the thematic analysis of Braun and Clark. Preliminary coding, that's it. That's where AI is most useful. Summaries and pattern spotting. So you can use AI to get the summary or to summarize, to spot the pattern. No? For example, cluster responses, or extract excerpts and cluster them according to these conditions. You set the conditions. Drafting the code lists or alternative phrasing, so you can tell AI how do we word this, or what's the most appropriate word that we can use to encompass all these sections, no? And you can also ask it later on to help you modify the phrasings, no? This is very useful for us who are not native English speakers, no? Who struggle a lot in terms of organizing our ideas in the English language. Handling large data sets efficiently. AI is not appropriate for, number one, the development of the final themes and the final thematic structure. Never do that in AI QDA. So while it may be different from what you have heard in other trainings on AI in qualitative data analysis, I hope that you will remember me. I'm always emphasizing this. You do the final thematic development or the final structure of the themes. No, while you can ask AI to rephrase the terms for you, but the final relationships must be done by the researcher. deep interpretive and latent analysis. So you can tell AI that just do some semantics, no? Some of the latent analysis can be left to me as the analyst or the researcher. Meaning making is with the researcher. The immersive reading of data is with the researcher. Okay, so the guideline I can mention is use AI for the early phase of the analysis, but reserve the interpretive work for the human analyst. Okay, and finally, the training and competence. Sana po before tayo gumamit ng AI in qualitative data analysis, we undergo rigorous training and we understand the revised guidelines on ethics in AI use in qualitative data analysis so that we can be very conscious, no, of the different what do you call that, suggested don'ts in AI QDA. Require students to undergo training before AI use. And I guess this is one of the ways that PNU uh, is providing you, no? To undergo this series of trainings to understand AI and AI integration and research, so to expose you. And I hope that this will be a helpful engagement with us, so you can refine better your thesis design through the learnings that we have in this session. Effective prompting requires expertise. So try to practice prompting and observe the behavior of AI, how it responds to your prompts. No? Qualitative knowledge is needed to detect AI errors. While I would say that having the exposure and the um, understanding of the conventional qualitative methods is an advantage. I'm not discounting the fact that anybody can do qualitative data analysis using AI, except that um, we say that it pays to understand these things, along with the practicing, or the rehearsing of the prompting process with AI. No? Qualitative knowledge is really needed. So I think in your respective classrooms or your classes, you have been discussing the original tenets of qualitative research, and I guess PNU is very good in terms of the programming. No? You have the classroom instruction, understanding QDA in the classroom, and then embracing AI through this training. And transparency and ethical reporting, I have mentioned that. And I guess one thing that I'd like to emphasize is journals will require you to disclose AI, and at the same time, some journals will require you to submit the the evolution of the themes, or the evolution of, or the timestamp of your AI responses. No? Include a dedicated AI statement. I'm going to show you a sample of that. Okay, so it's 11:30. I guess I have enough time. All right, so let's move on. I'll try to match these guidelines, no, to the 6 phases of thematic analysis by Braun and Clark. No, this is the 2006 paper of these authors, wherein they say na thematic analysis undergoes 6 specific steps. Um, why I'm using this as a reference is because ang dami nating researchers na gumagamit ng Brown and Clark na thematic analysis, which is the most generic and I guess the most researcher friendly. Napakadaling sundan. Number one, the phase one of the process is the reading, rereading, and the immersion process of the data. In this part, we can say na you can avoid AI in this part, but I'm not saying na hindi pwede gumamit ng AI. So, sabi ng guidelines natin, AI should not replace immersive reading. So, pag immersive reading, reflective reading, we leave it to the researcher. But for studies that involve a very large data set, now we can use AI. As I have said, we can use AI we can use AI, and I have a sample prompt there when using AI in the phase one of the thematic analysis steps. No? Human oversight, bias management, ethics, sample prompts of an AI supported familiarization phase of the data. You can tell AI. Of course, you can start with the context of the study. I assume that at the start of your thread, no? Sa akin kasi hindi ko na inuulit yung mga ano, yung nagpapakilala ka sa konteksto. In fact, minsan ang ginagawa ko is the very first prompt na binibigay ko kay AI is the context of my investigation. For example, I'm going to ask help of AI to organize my thoughts for this lecture. For example, sabi ko kay AI, I'm invited by Philippine Normal University, a state university, to talk to the graduate students on the topic, etc. So I do that on the first part of the chat GPT. And then the remaining parts will no longer mention that because AI will remember that this is for the in preparation for your talk to the Philippine Normal University, etc. Something like that. So, assuming you have those at the start of the prompt or the thread, you can say, assist me in getting an overview of this data set without interpreting meanings. Provide me with a descriptive summary. Descriptive, also mention that this is not just any other type of summary. Give me a descriptive summary. Uh, Give me the frequently occurring words or phrases if you need that. And perhaps you can give me an outline of the topics that appear on the surface level. Okay, so this is one. I'm not saying this is the perfect prompt. You can play around. You can uh, experiment on the prompts, etc. Note that in phase one of the thematic analysis of Brown and Clark, sorry, we emphasize that your AI in this phase should not conduct the immersive reading wherein you want to understand what is going on in the data set. You don't interpret at this stage. You just want to have an overview of what is this data all about. Phase 2 of the TA process, generating the initial codes. Okay, so very helpful. Ito yung sinasabi natin na this is the phase of the thematic analysis that AI is most useful, no? Always remember that we emphasize in our guidelines that AI is only an assistant. It's not an analyst. AI can provide the preliminary codes. It's fine, no? You give the context-aware prompts so that AI will understand what you are specifically requiring. Algorithmic bias checks, human oversight, of course, is always present, and the audit trail. Some tasks. This is the first round coding. You can do that using AI. Identifying repetitions and some lexical patterns, no? Keyword extraction and quick summaries. You can ask AI. I will share excerpts from preliminary descriptive coding. So you can have the descriptive coding in phase one, and then you can plug it again. You can tell AI, suggest some possible semantic surface level codes only, semantic level, no? Avoid latent coding, interpretation, or interpretive coding, and theme generation. Provide multiple options and allow me to choose, modify, or reject them. AI must not produce final code. So here you can modify if it gives you, and then you can uh, transfer that. What I do is I transfer that to Word file. I edit it in Word file. I plug it again in ChatGPT with the revised, no, revised clustering, for example, revised naming of the codes, etc. AI does not produce final codes. AI does not replace human coding. AI does not conduct latent interpretive coding. So surface level. So kung ano yung nakikita, word by word coding. No, walang latent na nangyayari. Walang analysis of the latent structure of the words. Next, phase 3. Searching for themes, no? Always remember that this is a human-led interpretation. So, pag sa phase 2, siguro sasabihin natin 80% of phase 2 ay machine. Dito sa ano, sa phase 3, sabihin natin 80% or 90% ay human led, no? AI only generated theme risk the loss of nuance and narrative richness, nawawala yung reflexivity, and etc. So, what AI can do at this stage, no? So the remaining 20 or 10% of the task can offer alternative groupings or suggested themes, no? If you want to cluster or give the clusters, no? So for example, these are some of the related, no, codes. Do you have, or can you give an alternative grouping, no, or suggest a more appropriate name for this code? Given my manually verified codes, assist by grouping similar. So as I've said kanina, in-extract ko siya from ChatGPT, you put it in Word, manually review, and then put it back there and say, given my manually verified codes, assist my grouping similar codes into possible clusters. Do not assign meaning, define themes, or propose theoretical interpretations. Your output should only consist of descriptive groupings that I will evaluate as the analyst. So you tell the AI, I'm the analyst here. You're not the ones in charge here. Just give me this, okay? The fourth phase of the thematic analysis is the validation, no, or the reviewing of the themes. We go back to the principles or the guidelines on multi-level validation, audit trail, reflexive memos, and AI cross-checking. So here we compare codes and clusters. We can say perhaps help me examine consistency between my candidate themes and the coded excerpts. Identify any mismatch or repetition or gaps in the coverage, and do not revise themes or propose alternative interpretations. Phase 5 is defining and naming of themes. So here you can exhaust or you can take advantage of AI here. You can use the prompt based on my finalized themes, suggest concise wording. So here, ito yung ano, kung saan humihingi ka na ng phrasing na. So phrasing prompts yung ano natin dito. Do not attempt to define latent meaning. So yung sabihin mo, baguhin mo yung pangalan na mas appropriate but never change the definition or the latent meaning of the code or the theme just because to align with the theme. So instead, you change the name of the theme. Okay, so you can finally in the last phase, no, in phase 6, producing the report, you can start here. Ito na yung mga sa reporting stage natin. Ang dami na natin pwedeng gagawin kay AI dito, but mostly in terms of improving the comprehensibility of the reporting. As say, assist with clarity, or sometimes you also ask AI to do the condensing part, no? But there are times ito kailangan ng extra caution dito sa condensing. So lagi kong sinasabi condense without losing coherence and the main argument. So laging may karugtong 'yun. I don't just say condense. I say condense without losing coherence and losing the main arguments in this. But I reread I read several times, no, the output, so that I won't lose any of the important ideas that I have in the original longer version. This is very useful kapag nagta-try kang sundan yung suggested word count ng isang journal. Ang hirap nun, satisfy. Isa sa mga pinaka-challenging, no? And AI can help you with that. Assist with clarity, structure, and organization. And then improve the grammar, coherence, and flow, but never add interpretations or new insights or change meaning. So para mo talagang kausap lagi si AI with this. So I have here a sample statement of the AI use. You can say Chat GPT 5.1 or by OpenAI was used in this study only for non-analytical support tasks, including generating descriptive summaries, identifying frequently occurring words, suggesting alternative wording, and assisting with grammar and clarity during manuscript preparation. The AI tool did not conduct coding, theme development, data interpretation, or any component of the analytic process. All qualitative analysis, including coding, theme development, interpretation, and reporting, was performed solely by the researcher. Only anonymized text was used in interactions with the AI system, and an audit trail documenting AI prompts and outputs was maintained for transparency. Okay, and you include that as part of the supplemental material or supplementary material in your submission for the journal. Okay, so I'll move on directly to Max QDA. I'm sorry for for the fast track presentation. Max QDA has the following features, and each of these features align with the guidelines that we have that I have presented to you today. So, sa phase 1, sa familiarization with the data, you can take advantage of the document reader of the Max QDA. So, document reader, you can display the document and you can organize the documents. Document browser, summary grids, in vivo coding, so you can start coding word for word or phrase by phrase, etc., and try to see the max maps. Later, I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so these are the AI guidelines that are being promoted, no, by using that part of the process. Phase 2 is generating the initial codes. So dito papasok yung features of MaxQDA on open coding and descriptive coding. The code system panel sa pinakababa, yung window natin ang code system. Colors of the code, you can assign colors to the code. Auto coding, where you can just click auto code, no. Lexical search is part of the I think is part of the diction Max Diction, no. You can search for words and then the associated words with each of these words. Okay, so phase 3, in searching for themes, you can use the code relations browser, code co-occurrence analysis, max maps, and summary tables. Phase 4, in reviewing themes, you can have the retrieve segments tool. The fourth window in your Max QDA interface is the retrieve segments window, wherein you can have a selective retrieval of the segments of the document and the codes that you assign to each of these segments that you have coded. Document portraits, paraphrasing module, creative coding, etc. The defining and naming of themes, summary grids, theoretical memoing, max maps, and document comparison charts. All right. Phase 6 is producing the report, writing the analytic narrative, etc. And yeah, so I have here the comparison, no, or the matrix of how Max QDA can help you in that, and what is the limitation of Max QDA that may not be able to do that, no. And then finally, I'll show this Gaita framework by Nguyen Trong. It's a protocol, no? So you can include this when you apply for ethics clearance and where your design uses AI in the data analysis. You can use this Gaita as your framework when you apply for ethics clearance. Okay, so Gaita means guidance. Guidance, you have to define the role of AI clearly. Ano ba? Para saan si AI? Number 2 is alignment, ensuring that AI fits the qualitative paradigm. As I have said kanina, ano ba sa'yo? Small Q or big Q ka ba? Number 3 is interaction. Paano kayo nag-uusap ni AI? Paano kayo nag-reflexivity ni AI? So, yung mga codes and mga documents, paano mo siya, or yung mga support mo, paano mo siya i-document, yung interaction nyo, yung prompts nyo. Transparency, ano yung mga ipapakita mo pagkatapos ng study. Auditability, so yun, part of it is yung outputs, prompts, model, and then yun. So that's the Gaita framework. So just follow the Gaita in your application of, or in drafting your protocol for ethics clearance or for ethics approval, by also by making sure that each of these Gaita stages is properly described in your protocol. Okay, so I got about 10 minutes left before I end. So I'm going to show now. Sorry, we have a very limited time, and I really find it important to, more than the presentation of the Max KDA. Honestly, I find it more essential and more useful to present this to you. But of course, I will introduce Max KDA. I know you're into digital tools nowadays, so I think it would be very easy for you to navigate the Max QDA using those principles. But more important in this engagement is the guidelines. No? So I'll be giving you those guidelines, and I hope that you will be able to utilize those guidelines in understanding the process of Max QDA. Okay, so here, this is the Max QDA. Hold on. Share. So to give you a picture of what I'm talking about, this is the Max QDA, the upper left side, yung mga gumagalaw ngayon, that is where you can upload the document. So ito ginamit ko siya, ano nga ba to? That's what this is one of the uh, ayun. So I think I use this in one of the tools or instruments that we developed, no, as part of the literature or the narrative literature review. So ang ginawa namin dito is nag-analyze kami ng literature. So dito sa upper left, dito nyo ilalagay yung data nyo. So in this case, because this is a literature review, ang data namin ay articles. Pero sa usual na gamit ng MaxQDA, ang ilalagay natin dito ay yung mga data sets. So from here, you can also organize this into groups. So you can add document groups and you can add documents in each of these groups. So mabilis, ito yung ginagamit natin pang pa-open ng documents. So for example, gusto natin si Almargani na buksan. So makikita natin dito sa document browser si Almargani. Dito natin siya mababrowse, no? So pwede natin siyang i-zoom in, zoom out din para mas mapabilis. So dito sa left side, dito lalabas yung codes natin. For example, nagko-code tayo sa kanya. Dito yan lalabas. So pakitaan ko kayo ng example, no? For example, si OS ang ating titingnan. So ito yung itsura ng coded segments. So ito yung magiging itsura ng inyong skip ko lang muna 'to si retrieve segments kapag nakapag-code na kayo. Okay? So yung tinanggal ko, ito yung retrieve segments. Magagamit natin yun kapag tapos ka na sa inyong coding. That's the retrieval of all these codes. So for example, gusto nating i-extract lahat ng codes ng document ni Oz and on this particular code. Okay? So that's the document system. This one is the document browser. Ito sa lower left is the code system. Dito natin ilalagay yung codes. Ang codes natin ay pwede nating i-collapse, pwede nating i-expand para mas makikita natin. So ito yung mga nakikita natin dati sa traditional na pamamaraan na kung saan naka-index cards tayo, nag-shelves tayo, etc. So yun, itong part na pala na ito ay using uh, the AI assist, no, of MaxQDA. So sa AI assist kasi pwede na natin siyang sabihan na i, i, i ano mo nga, i-code mo nga itong document na ito gamit ang code na ito. So for example, sabihin natin, basahin mo nga itong paper ni Thomas. Tapos ito yung equity and inclusion ang code na gusto kong titingnan mo. Or for example, socio-political equity and inclusion yung titingnan mo. So dito sa code mo, ano mo siya, i-define mo siya. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng socio-political equity and inclusion para magiging basis ni AI or ni MaxQDA AI Assist kung ano yung i-extract niya ng mga segments or we call it the segments na magfo-fall under this code. So ang sabi natin, the socio-political equity and inclusion talks about addressing social justice and equity issues, which is crucial in ensuring that all students have equal opportunities for engagement and success. So sabihin natin sa kanya na, hey AI, ang socio-political equity ay ganito. Hanapan mo nga ako ng indicators ng socio-political equity sa document na ito. So yan yung ginagawa ni AI Assist, no? So kapag meron tayong qualitative research na naka-anchor sa isang framework, so dito natin ilalagay yung mga dimensions of the framework. So lagay natin dito, for example, naka-TPAC tayo. So maglagay tayo dito ng codes for technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, or so kung meron pa tayo mga subcodes doon, pwede pa natin siyang ilagay dito because may different levels yung code system natin. O tingnan natin dito, may different hierarchies yan na pwedeng mag-collapse, pwedeng mag-expand. So, yun yung ginagawa natin. And pwede nating kulayan yan para may different colors yung ating code system. So, like ganyan. Purple yung hindi ko siya kinulayan dito. Actually, hindi ako masyadong fan ng kulay. At in the first place, hindi rin ako masyadong nakaka-detect ng pagkakaiba ng mga magkakalapit na kulay. So, wala masyadong gamit sa akin yun. And because it's a AI assisted, To enhance reflexivity of the process, nandito sa side yung AI notes natin. So bakit mo siya kinode na, for example, itong segment na ito ay kinode ko siya as behavioral perspective or behavioral aspect, no? Bakit? Kasi sabi niya dito, ito yung explanation. So this sentence highlights, for example, itong sentence na ito, kinode ko siya because this highlights how survey instruments by using predefined questions. So tingnan mo siya dito. So tama ba yung kanyang decision na i-code niya yan as ganyan? Base sa kanyang explanation or kanyang justification. So dito kayo mag-uusap ni machine. So this is one way of promoting the interaction between human and the machine. Sabihin mo sa kanya, tama ba na kinode niya ito ng ganito na based on its justification? So yun, isa yun siya sa mga magpapapromote ng interaction natin with the machine. Okay, so that's the new feature of Max QDA, the AI assist. The rest of the features are the same as the old versions of Max QDA. The same thing. Kanina nakikita natin yung retrieval, pwede natin siyang ibalik yung retrieval natin. So, saan na nga ba ako? Okay, and then, sa visual tools, pwede natin siyang titingnan yung code browser, for example, like that. Or you can have the Max Maps, etc. But which can help you visualize your codes. I'm not much, I don't use this much, but these are all features that you can take advantage. But what Max QDA specifically helps me with is number one is in the coding process, whether I do it myself or I do the automated or the auto coding. So ito yung tip na ginagawa or ito yung practice na ginagawa. Ito yung practice ko in the use of Max QDA. Number one is nagko-code ako ng sample. So parang yung sa quantitative natin sa ating modeling, ginagawa ko dito is nagko-code ako ng sample. For example, meron akong 100 pages na document. Ang ginagawa ko is kino-code ko, masyadong maliit yung 100, pwede mo na i-manual. Baguhin ko yung aking example. So meron akong for example, 60 documents, no? 60 documents na merong 20 pages each, no? So malaking ano 'yon, data set 'yon. So ang ginagawa ko is, nagma-manual coding ako doon sa 6 or 5 na documents. Tapos tinitingnan ko yung ano, yung nilalagay ko siya sa software. And then using the techniques that I introduced a while ago, I refined the codes that I used and then I plug it here in the code system. Yan yung ginagawa ko kapag gumagawa ako ng parang theory-free na analysis. Pero hindi mo na kailangan gawin 'yan kapag ang research mo ay naka-anchor sa isang framework. Kasi technically sa isang framework nandun na yung elements or dimensions na gusto mong titingnan o yung constructs na gusto mong tingnan. So ang gagawin mo na lang dun is ilalagay mo siya dito sa code system, yung mga dimensions na iyon, and then i-auto code mo na lang siya. I-define mo yung dimensions na iyon based sa definition niya sa inyong literature review. So yun, siya na yung maghahanap ng iko-code niya na segments na nagfo-fall doon sa dimension na iyon. So yung kapag walang gano'n, walang framework na inumpisahan, you can start coding for example, 5% or 10% of the data. And then the rest of the data set, hayaan mo na si software na mag-analyze because inumpisahan mo na siya. Okay, and then you justify the process using the guidelines that I have provided just a while ago. All right, so it's 11:55. I don't want to take much of your time. I have given you, I guess, enough guidelines, and please feel free to explore Max QDA. Max QDA is free for the first 15 days. So kung gumagawa ka ng dissertation mo, kayang-kaya mo na talagang gawin using Max QDA because I don't think you will be needing more than 15 days for this type of work. So you can just subscribe to Max QDA on a trial version and then skip it afterwards. Don't pay it. And make sure that you have the data already in the next 15 days so that magagawa mo siya before mag-expire yung inyong subscription. But I'm using a paid version of the Max UDA. So in case may kailangan ng talagang wala ng choice, you let me know if may time ako, I can help you. All right, so I'll stop here and we'll spend the remaining time to answer questions if you have any. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you po, Prof. Anito, for that insightful and wonderful discussion. And now for the open forum, I would like to call Dr. David to facilitate the open forum po.
Okay, thank you,
You-
Ana. Sige. So maybe we'll be calling some people, no, to raise their hand, but let me just read some basic questions, no? For instance, Sir Anito, magkano daw ba ngayon ang Max QDA?
Yeah, I place it in the chat box. It's about 45,000. But lifetime free updates naman po. Wala akong cut ha. I just find it very helpful. It's
Yes.
45,000 lifetime updates free
And 45,000
pesos
pesos. Okay. Yan.
for one user, single user only.
Okay, so that's for individual, no?
Yeah, for
Individual account,
individual.
not an
Yeah.
institutional account. May
Yeah, not
institutional
an
account ba, Doc?
Yes po,
Yung,
meron po,
yeah.
meron po. And in fact, merong malaking discount ang graduate students through the teacher or through the advisor. Like almost half yata ang discount kapag si advisor ang mag-subscribe and then lahat ng estudyante niya or at least 10 yata ay magsa-subscribe. Parang ganun.
Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you. Is it, there's a question here, saan ba? Can AI be used for data analysis for quantitative data?
I have tried and the answer is yes. But the problem is in terms of the bulk of the data set. Now, I've tried it with a very small number of responses and a very small number of variables. It worked. But when I tried to, kasi may limit si ChatGPT, kahit sabihin mong up to 10 documents yan, may limit siya sa characters kung ilan lang yung kaya niyang i-analyze. So magkakaroon ng problema doon kapag masyadong mahaba yung dataset kasi hindi niya na kayang i-analyze yun. So ang gagawin natin dito is we really need to go back to the traditional softwares like yung Jamovie or Excel or SPSS. The same thing sa sa Quali pala. May word siya may number of character limit yung ChatGPT. So if you notice pag maglalagay ka ng pagkahaba-haba na document diyan, hindi niya babasahin lahat 'yan. So balik ka ulit doon sa Max QDA for example or sa NVivo kapag masyadong mahaba yung documents mo.
Yes, okay. So, what possible suggested AI tools to check the validity of manuscript outputs in the research paper?
Anong specific aspect of validity ang tinitingnan natin? Are you trying to validate in terms of the the integrity in terms of citations? So you can use ang dami eh. So you can use the guidelines that that I provided. Actually may checklist akong ginawa. I can also send it to Sir Don after this, no. You can also use that as a validation pag quali ha. AI in quali. So you can use that, i-checklist mo siya as a form of validation. 'Yun. So ang daming Ay depende sa ano purpose ng validation. So may Turnitin tayo kapag ano, kapag, citation yung, tinitingnan natin. In terms of, validity na hindi si software ang nag-a-analyze, so you can use the guidelines. It depends kung ano yung, tinitingnan mo.
Okay, thank you sir. I think 'tong isang tanong na 'to nasagot na 'no, pero siguro kalahating balikan. Since AI is a tool, is it a must to cite that the piece or portion of the work of the researcher is AI assisted?
As I have said, yes, you have, what do you mean? You have to declare that you have used AI. I think that the word cite is not appropriate, but you have to declare that, you used AI, you were assisted by AI in, preparing that, manuscript, no? There is no policy, there's no such thing as ano, we don't recognize AI as a as a replacement of a human as a as a researcher, no? So talagang tool talaga si AI. And then you put that, in the declaration, or you can put that in the methods section. I saw papers placing in method section, the AI, description. Yun po.
Yun, si Sir Brian 'no, from PNU. Brian, nag-enroll ka na ba ng refresher course mo? In the near future, will there come a time that AI assistance will be a requirement for a research study? So maybe it's asking for your opinion, sir, no? Maybe in the
Opinion,
future?
yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion, nag-umpisa na tayo. Sabi ko, mahuhuli ka na 'pag hindi ka gumamit ng AI. I highly encourage you to use AI. I do not know, that's my opinion. So I strongly encourage you to use AI. Gamitin ang AI, but I provided you with guidelines. So kaya nga mas nakikita ko yung, need ng guidelines kaysa sa actual demo, because the use of that, the application of that is can be very easily, done later on. The guidelines are more important.
Okay. So this one is something that you explained, pero baka you can synthesize further. How to familiarize data using AI?
I have, explained that, 'pag, masyadong marami, yun, very limited way of familiarizing AI is to get the overview, some of the common topics, etc. But if, maliit lang naman, kayang-kaya mo namang ima-manual yung familiarization, basahin basahin lahat yun na ikaw, and then, hindi masyadong mauubos yung oras mo, you can do that na 'pag 100 pages lang naman yung transcript, kayang-kaya mo na yun, ima-manual. Pero 'pag masyadong madami, pinakita ko sa phase 1, familiarization, phase, na puwede kang mag-AI, limited lang. So, pakita mo lang yung overview, yun.
Thank you, sir. What about daw kapag lexical patterns? How to identify them through AI?
We have that in the Max QDA, no? We can, look at the structure, no, of the words, and there are dedicated softwares that can also, do that, no. Orange can, do that, specifically. We have papers, using Orange. You try to explore Orange also. Orange is a data mining software. Charmaine, Kalahat. Nauna na yata mag-lunch na si Miss Charmaine. Mute na kita. Ano pala ako? Boost pala ako. So you can use Orange, no? Very dedicated to do that. And some tools, by the linguistics team, by linguistics, group, no? They are using, several tools. I'm also using, the SciMat can also look at, structures and see the, lexical dynamics, no? And, many other tools, no. AI, you can, as long as the oversight is, there, you have to really read it.
Okay.
Sir, how about?
What about, sir, ano daw, free software or free AI tools that can be used
Yeah,
for
free.
quality analysis?
Yung ano, yung Orange is free po. Wala pong ano yun, wala pong bayad yun. So, I can show, a little, anyway. So, ang Orange, ang ginagawa ng Orange, free siya, Ang ginagawa ng orange ay tinitingnan niya yung distances ng terms, no? Yun yung basis ng kanyang analysis. So meron siyang cluster analysis, paano siya nagka-cluster, no? Dendrogram yung kanyang output. Very rich ang visualization. Nagbibigay din siya ng multidimensional scaling or MDS. Tinitingnan niya yung mga nagko-concentrate doon sa core of the topic and yung mga themes na nasa periphery ng topic. So makikita niya doon. Itong SciMat is also very powerful. Kaso lang, ang tinitingnan sa SciMat is yung keywords lang and abstracts, no? So hindi ganun ka comprehensive, although we trust na ang abstracts natin ay containing most of the important information of the research, but yung SciMat, tinitingnan niya rin yun, no? Yung alignment, relationship of the words, and try to pattern them. And what's good about it is it can see the evolution of the themes. Gaya ng pinresent ko sa inyo kanina, SciMat yung ginamit natin doon. And SciMat is also free.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And there are more, no? But they tend to be very, very specific yung focus, no? Maybe some for just visual
Yeah, right,
illustrations and
right.
so on and so forth. Okay.
Correct.
Maybe last two questions, Sir Jovito.
Yeah, sure.
Second to the last. How about Colysis method is still relevant to be used, and can it be aligned with AI tools?
The answer is yes. No, I'm not familiar, although I know that Colaisi is also popularly used in, I think, in phenomenological study, right? So it definitely will align with the guidelines because as I have established at the onset of the talk, talagang bumalik lang tayo sa original na QDA. Wala namang nawawala. So baon-baon natin yung tradisyon. Ang sa atin lang is given the unique characteristics and capabilities of AI, paano natin 'to siya gagawin with this tool. So yun lang yung ginawa ko doon sa Braun and Clark's na 6 thematic analysis phases, and we can do the same thing doon sa Colysis. And perhaps I can recommend that you do the same thing sa Colysis. You can let me know if you need assistance. We can do together, no? We can align Colysis with the different um, principles, capabilities, and limitations of AI now that AI is introduced in QDA. So the answer is definitely it's a yes.
And last question, why the change of heart, Sir Anito, no? From someone who's strictly non-AI user to someone who seems to be just who's also now an advocate, no, of using AI assisted qualitative analysis.
Yeah, times have changed, no? Times have changed. And right now, ang data kasi noon is limitado din. Pero ngayon, ang data natin is ang bilis kukunin. Yun yung isa sa mga considerations namin sa WCQR. Isa sa mga nakikita natin, ang daming pong data sources. Ang bilis kumuha ng data. Ang dami pong literature ngayon na nagsusupport na pwedeng kumuha ng data using online interview, online open-ended surveys. So with the overwhelming volume of data, yung mga pinaglalaban natin, hindi na kakayanin yun. So even the very how do you call that? Very traditional, very dogmatic minds are starting to to embrace the process. So yun yung inexplain ko in 2020 na yeah, it's about time we embrace technology. Pero lagi kong i-emphasize, hindi nawawala yung tradisyon ng QDA. Kaya inumpisahan ko siya doon kanina na eto pa rin tayo, nandyan pa rin, tinulungan lang tayo, pinabilis lang yung proseso natin. We make sure at naglalagay tayo ng how do you call that? Parang pamamaraan para ma-preserve natin yung mga pinaglalaban nating prinsipyo sa QDA like reflexivity, hindi nawawala dapat. And in fact, as I have said, maybe this is an invitation to anyone who will be interested. We can work out a study that will explore more on the reflexivity the redefinition of reflexivity this time, considering that human is interacting heavily with machine in QDA. So reflexivity must be redefined this time. There must be a new phase or new they call that elaboration of reflexivity now with AI. So yun po. Nagbabago talaga. That's how we learn. That's how we survive as a researcher and as an active learner. We learn and then we change. The heart never change. We are still a qualitative researcher by heart.
Yes, so thank you. And of course, we need it's always about responsible and ethical use of
Yeah.
AI, no? Ayan. So maganda
Bottom
yung
line,
sinabi ni
yes.
Sir kanina, no? Yan. Yes, sir, what's the bottom line?
Yeah. Bottom line is responsible use of AI. We take
Yes.
advantage, but it's always the responsible use of AI because the human is still there.
Yes. Okay. Especially sa quali, no? Sa quanti, pwedeng medyo positivist ka ng konti talaga, no? But quali, no? You can never remove the
Yes.
human side of
Nandyan siya.
research. Okay,
Nakita niyo
yes.
yung ano, yung sa ano natin sa mapping natin, Sir Don, talagang very heavy pa rin tayo talaga. So yun yung masayang tingnan na kahit nag-AI na tayo, sentro pa rin, human centric pa rin yung QDA kahit ano na nag-AI na tayo.
Yes. And hopefully that's the case even if the technology continues
Right,
to evolve.
right.
Okay?
Correct, correct.
So thank you, Sir Anito. Before I give the floor again to Hannah, so reminders sa mga participants ngayon na gustong makakuha ng certificate, you need to answer the evaluation uh, form that will be posted in a while after the group photos. And any materials that Sir Joby will share to me, we will share to the Facebook of GSRO as applicable. Okay? So thank you everyone,
Sir
Hannah.
Don, sorry, there are participants who are asking for copies who are not graduate students of PNU. So I'll be posting my email address in the chat box so they can
Yes.
contact me and ask for a copy of the presentation directly.
Although yung Facebook sir, accessible naman sa lahat, no? Kaya nga rin sila nakapunta rito. Okay?
Okay,
It's
sige po,
open,
sige
it's
po.
publicly available
Alright
naman
po,
siya.
sige po,
Okay?
alright.
Thank you. Hannah?
Thank you po, Prof. Anito and Dr. David. And now,
Photo up? Baka kailangan i-unshare yung slide dito.
and now to express our gratitude to us of Prof. Jovito Anito, we would like to give the certificate of appreciation in sincere acknowledgement of his invaluable contribution as a research speaker during the refresher training on qualitative data analysis with the theme Harnessing AI for Qualitative Data Analysis held on November 15, 2025, given this 15th day of November 2025 at PNU Manila. Again, thank you, as Associate Professor Jovito Anito. And now for the photo opportunity, kindly open your cameras and we will take a screenshot po. Paki-open lang po ng mga camera. Okay po.
Good opportunity. Thank you. Teka. Ang ganda. Tama pa lang.
Okay na po. Thank you po. And now
Thank you
for
so
the
much.
Thank you,
Thank
Sir
you po.
Joby.
We will share screen na po the evaluation form and QR code. Pakihintay lang po. Now, kindly answer the evaluation form to claim your e-certificate po. Paki-sure lang po na tama po yung email na ilalagay niyo po diyan so that you can receive the certificate po. We will accept the evaluation form po hanggang 2:00 PM lang po today. After that, we will no longer accepting answers na po sa evaluation form po natin. Thank you po.
Nawalan siya ng gas, anak. Parang yun lang. Parang hindi nagpa-function mga